glorious as the day you sailed with the Skull Rock podcast. Proceed at your own risk and mark well me words, ladies. Dead men tell no tale.
Whether you're a lifelong Disney fan, theme park junkie, or someone who just loves great storytelling, you found the right show. Skull Rock Podcast, where every week we take you down the scenes of some of your favorite Disney films and movies. And I'm Aljon Go, musician and lifelong Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel fan, joined by my loving co-host.
I'm Dave Bossert, artist, filmmaker, and author. Welcome to the Skull Rock Podcast. And by the way, folks, we're all over social media. Facebook, X, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, we're everywhere. We even have our own YouTube channel. I'm just going to give it a plug, okay? But Aljon, I know this is going to be a short show, my friends, because Aljon is taking his family on a vacation for the next 2 weeks. We're doing a tight little show here, but we do want to plug the special screening that we've been mentioning. Our friend Arnie Leibovitz is hosting a newly restored big screen presentation of the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad with groundbreaking dynamation effects by Ray Harryhausen and a thunderous, unforgettable score by Bernard Herrmann.
I love it.
I mean, this was one of the top grossing films of 1958. It's been beautifully restored. It's going to be on the big screen at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California. Folks, this is Saturday, July 25th. Look, if you live in Southern California, it's a Saturday. Drive down to the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana and see this presentation. He's also going to be showing some beautifully restored George Pal Academy Award-winning Puppetoons. And it's all hosted by Arnold Leibovitz in person, who was a friend of Ray Harryhausen. So he's going to have some stories and whatnot behind it. Aljon's got all the links in the show notes. Right, Aljon?
Absolutely. Go out there and support this awesome event. I love these screenings, so go out there and support it.
I love going to these screenings. I have to tell you, I wish I was going to this one, but I've been to a number of screenings that Arnie has hosted in the Los Angeles area over the years, and they're just absolutely fantastic. They're so much fun to go to.
Oh, that is absolutely correct. But, man, let's do that and mark our calendars for it. And I will say this, we have this awesome interview with Bill Plympton. Can you believe it? Like another awesome interview with him. What a great dude.
Hey, this is part 3 we're dropping. I mean, for crying out loud, this is, anybody who's in animation should be listening to Bill Plympton because he's one of the legendary independent animators that are out there. And he's made an incredible living not working for a major studio. And with all the turmoil going on and people not working and things like that, this is inspiration for you, my friends. Absolute inspiration to go out there and start doing your own stuff because there is so many distribution channels, so many outlets for your short films, for your little animations to get them out there and get noticed.
And Bill's awesome, man. I love his company and I love his work ever since he was doing stuff on MTV. So I really got into him and Saturday Night Live too. I mean, it's such a great style. It's awesome. So I'm glad that we have number 3 coming to you in just a little bit. Before we do that, let's play this.
Mom, have you met? Do you know? She wrote this great review of my poetry book.
I read a great review.
Your girlfriend got a great review.
Oh, that's my pick, too. Sorry.
Excuse me while I start the projector.
Skull Rock Podcast, Picks of the Week.
All right, Dave. What have you been watching?
Aljon, this is going to be...
You're back.
Look, this is going to be short and sweet. I've been traveling, for a week out in Los Angeles. I've been doing all kinds of stuff. I'm busy as can be, all kinds of meetings and whatnot. And it was all great. But I did manage to squeeze in a film with a friend of mine out there. We went to see The Sheep Detective. Now, have you heard about this film?
Yes, the Sheep Detective
Yeah,
has got Wolverine in it, right?
that's right. Your man Hugh Jackman is
That's
in
right.
it.
That's right.
It's got really a fantastic cast: Emma Thompson, Brett Goldstein, Nicholas Braun, Molly Gooden. It's just absolutely fantastic. The synopsis is: George Hardy is a shepherd who loves to read murder mysteries to his sheep, never suspecting that they can understand him. When George is found dead under mysterious circumstances, the sheep decide to solve the crime themselves, even if it means leaving their meadow for the first time and facing the fact that the human world isn't as simple as it appears in books. So I got to tell you,
I love it.
Aljon, I did not know what to expect from this film, and I absolutely loved it. I give this 2 thumbs up. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
anybody and their brother should go see this. Take your family to see this movie. It is absolutely a delight to watch this film. Hugh Jackman is awesome. The sheep are fantastic.
Nice.
Okay. And they do solve the murder. This is just one of those odd films that comes along that I will tell you is such a joy. It
Oh, I
was a
love it.
joy to watch. The cinematography was fantastic. The writing is brilliant in this film. And you know, Brett Goldstein, who's been real hot lately, he's in Shrinking. He was one of the the star soccer player in Ted Lasso.
Yes.
He's been in a bunch of stuff. He does the voice of twin rams, and they're hilarious. The banter
Love it.
between the 2 brothers, it's absolutely fantastic. And I just really am going to be effusive about telling people, please go out and see this film. It is really a wonderful film. You can watch this on a streamer when it comes through, it finishes its theatrical run. But I highly recommend this as being a film that you should see on a big screen. It was just wonderful, and that's all I'm going to talk about this week. What have
Oh, I
you What
love
have
it.
you seen, Aljon?
Well, that's a great review, by the way, Dave. I saw Backrooms, uh, and I did talk about it just briefly last week. I also saw the Masters of the Universe film, and I I liked it a lot, and I don't understand um, why a movie that has got so much great public reviews, I would
Yeah.
say, is doing so poorly at the box office. If you look here, look at it. It's rated 7 out of 10 on IMDb,
Uh-huh.
and the popularity just keeps on growing with the audience. Now, I can tell you that I think it was the president of Amazon Studios, MGM, had said that I believe a lot of that is going to be due to streaming and setting up for, the franchise for other, situations and merchandise and a bunch of really cool things. I really like the film. It's fun. It's a fun romp. It is definitely, if this was a Marvel movie, Dave, I would put it in the middle of the pack. I thought it was a very strong showing. But I think we missed a little bit of the marketing. I think maybe it was marketed to, Gen Xers like me and other people that grew up watching it.
Uh-huh.
And I think they missed out on what Backdoors and other films like that are doing, which is targeting like Gen Zs, right? And people that are younger that go to the theater, and not necessarily bringing those younger folks through the door and relying on streaming as a platform for this film and to gauge its success. I think maybe has a lot to do with it. But I just am wondering, I mean, are you seeing any other trends? Because I feel like the same way about Star Wars. I feel like even though The Mandalorian is a really good film, I think it was a marketing miss too. And even though it's a standalone and fans are going to complain and there's a lot of rage bait going on in order to gain clicks and things, everyone has to jump in on the bandwagon and hate on something. And I didn't hate Star Wars. I'd watch it again. And the same goes for Masters of the Universe. They may have thought that they had a big Barbie style hit on their hands, but I think there's something deeper going on here. And I'm kind of challenged to put a finger on it, really.
I'm at a loss, Aljon. I really enjoyed the Mandalorian story, and I actually was having dinner with a friend on this past Saturday in Los Angeles, and he said to me that I was one of the few people who seemed to have given it a positive review. That there were a lot of negative reviews out there, and I don't understand it because again. I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan. I went to see it as a summer movie. It was a popcorn film and it was thoroughly enjoyable. It did what it needed to do for me, you know?
Same. And I'm the
Uh,
same way. I am
yeah,
a hardcore Star Wars fan. And even though I may have unloaded a little bit about the film and about, my thoughts overall, I think just as a film, as a fan, I thought it was completely fine and would see it again. And the same goes for Masters of the Universe. I feel the same way. I have a feeling that maybe there were some misses in marketing, and I think both Disney and MGM, I think MGM, Amazon is banking on it streaming and having people really tune in, because I thought it was good quality all the way. And I think Jared Leto, if people believe in the Jared Leto curse, and I don't believe that for one bit. I think, Dave, you watch Masters of the Universe and you tell me, you know nothing of the lore of He-Man other than he was an 80s cartoon and have a bunch of action figures. But the thing for me is, you don't have to know anything about these characters to have a good time watching it.
there's an old saying in Hollywood that if a movie's a failure, it was the marketing, and if it was a hit, it was a great movie. It was because it was a great movie. You know what I mean? So,
I get it.
but you can't blame everything on marketing. I will say, Aljon, that the He-Man movie, I didn't really see a lot of marketing on it,
No,
so I don't know
I didn't
where they
either.
were spending their marketing dollars.
I don't know either. They had a little bit of a reduced budget than more blockbuster films coming out in this time frame.
Yeah.
That I thought it was great. The special effects looked complete. I mean, it looked like a more complete, holistic movie with the effects and the sound. And my God, the soundtrack with Brian May, than I would say, some of the Marvel movies like
Yeah.
Quantumania. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it looked more complete. So I don't know. But anyway, that is what we've been watching. That is a hot take. Take it for
But
what you will.
I
Okay.
do want to add this one comment though. In that conversation I was having on Saturday night, it was like, yeah, the Mandalorian and Grogu, yeah, you could have broken that up into 4 half-hour shows and put them on Disney Plus, and it would have been
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Yep.
But you know what? I like seeing it on a big screen. I like the franchise, the Mandalorian franchise, if I can call it a franchise. It's beyond me why it dropped off so precipitously. But I will say, Saturday night, we had dinner at Gale's in Pasadena, which is an Italian restaurant, and I mean, partially because of the company, but the food was really excellent, and they had a killer coconut cream cake at the
Oh, I
end
love that. I
of
love that.
dinner, man. And it's one of their specialties apparently, so
What a great
I'm
review.
giving them a shameless plug. If you're in Los Angeles, if you're up in the Pasadena area, go to Gales. And by the way, she has a bit of a Disney connection. Boom, I'm just gonna
Hey, thanks, Dave. I appreciate the insight. And now let's log into this. The third part, Bill Plympton, legendary animator, legendary, just all around figure, director, producer, all kinds of greatness, right here on Skull Rock Podcast. Enjoy.
let's do it.
Hey, let's chat.
Let's chat afterwards. Let's chat. And he said, let's chat again.
Skull Rock Podcast. Interview time.
Well, Aljon, we're back for week 3 with legendary producer, director, animator, cartoonist Bill Plympton, who's won a slew of awards, been nominated multiple times for Academy Awards for short subjects. Bill, welcome back to the Skull Rock Podcast.
I'm happy to be here.
It's good to talk to you again. Last week we kind of left off. You were talking about the film I Married a Strange Person that you did. And I wanted to kind of pick up on the feature films that you animated yourself. And
Yes.
by my count, you've done 9 of them.
Right.
and the first one being The Tune in 1992. And I want to step through each one of those and just have you just give me the elevator pitch of what the feature's about,
Well,
and then we could talk a little bit about them.
I got a good Tune story.
Okay.
That explains a lot about my predicament. But I will talk that Rain and I made this film. Rain did all the music and a lot of the voices. I think the budget was around $175,000, which is pretty low, and I just found it easier to pay for it myself than flying out to LA to do these terrible pitch sessions, which I'm terrible at, and trying to raise money through Hollywood, because there's always strings attached. There's certain parameters that I have to follow. So I just decided, why not finance the film myself? So as I told you, the film was really popular in Sundance, and I thought we had a sale. We had a lot of people seemed interested, but none of them wanted to give me money. They all wanted to say, "Well, you'll get your money on the back end." You've heard that one before, right?
Well, that's Hollywood accounting. You'd have to say, I get my cut from first dollar gross if you're going to see any money.
Yeah. Even that's not reliable. But anyway, we hooked up with a company called October Films, and they were really smart. They really picked good films at Sundance. They're very sharp guys, but they had very little financial backing. So that was the only choice I could make, is that, or else put the film on my shelf and not show it to anybody. So I sold the deal. I didn't sell it. I gave it to October Films, and it did all right. The reviews were amazing. I mean, the reviews were so good. It's just kind of embarrassing, but it just wasn't a blockbuster. It made a little bit of money, but not that much. Then I said, "Oh, I'll make it in home video, video cassette," because that was big back then. So I talked to the video cassette people, and I said, "How many are you going to print? My film?" They said, "Oh, about 1,000." I went, "What? This is a film that's everyone's gonna love it, and it just, the guy, he really lowballed me. He just figured like no one's gonna want to see it." So, and I offered to do publicity and promotion and all that stuff, and he just didn't kick in. So I was really upset. Then I was walking by, I lived in East Village then. I was walking by my one of my bodegas. It was a Japanese bodega, and
And just so our listeners know, if you're not from New York, the bodega may sound like a foreign word to them, but a bodega is just like a corner grocery store.
That's it. That's exactly it. And they were selling video cassettes, and there was The Tune on there. And they had a bunch of them. And I went, "What the heck's going on? How did they get this?" And I went up and looked at it, and it was a pirated version. It was a pirated copy of my film. And I was really upset. And I told the guy, the shopkeeper, "Hey, this is my film. I'm not getting I'm taking this film. I don't allow you to sell it." And he really got angry, and rightfully so, because he didn't know who the hell I was. I could have been some idiot. And he grabbed me, and he pulled me back into the store to get the video cassette. And so we went tugging back and forth for just a minute or two, and a crowd started to gather. The East Village,
Yeah.
We're really bored. They want to see something interesting. So they surrounded me, and I said, "I'm Bill Plympton. I made that tune there. This is a pirated copy. This is not legal." And they said, "Yeah, go, Bill, go." It's a real,
They started chanting, "Fight, fight!" Right?
Yeah. Like I should have said, Attica. And a cop was coming by, and he listened to the grocer's story, and they listened to my story, and he said, "I'm sorry, the only thing you can do is get a restraining order." And I don't have money to go get a lawyer. You'll get a restraining order, and there's nothing I could do. But I felt that power of, being a creator and trying to hold on to get my money some way. And this is what independent filmmakers have to do
That's just great.
To survive in the cutthroat Hollywood movie system.
So let me ask you, before we start talking about some of the other features that you did, how long did it take you to do the tune? And I take it it's like an 80-minute or 90-minute.
No, it's around 70. They're all
Okay.
around 70.
So 70 minutes.
Yeah.
How long did it take you? Because you animated this by yourself.
Right. Did every drawing by myself.
Okay, so how long did that take you?
It took around 2 to 2.5 years. Something.
Okay. And is that about the average for each one of the 9?
Yeah, it was, except for Slide, which was I did during the big disease wave of
Okay, so the COVID, the pandemic shutdown.
It killed all my markets, all
Right.
my income, and I had to take any kind of job I could get to survive and hold on to my studio. So I was doing, music videos and commercials and whatever I could get
Yeah.
to pay the bill.
And do you get those jobs because you have an agent? Do you have somebody that's out there?
No, I had an agent, and she was okay, but she wanted too much money. I just didn't think it was fair.
Yeah.
So I pretty much people just call me on the phone. I mean, like Kanye West, he just called me on the phone out of the blue.
Uh-huh.
Said, I want you to make me a music video. I said, sure. If you're Kanye West, I will do it.
And did you have to check to make sure it was actually Kanye West?
No, I it sounded like him, and he had his associate talked to me about the project and everything, so it had to be him. It wasn't
Yeah.
a crank call or anything like that.
Let's just step through your features. So
Okay.
after you did the tune, you did "I Married a Strange Person," and we heard the story about the snowboarder at Sundance, and that ultimately sold. What else can you add to that one?
Well, like I said, the money was really good. That's probably the best money I ever got. The reviews were smashing. I always get good reviews. I think just because people feel sorry for me. I'm independent, and I do all the drawing myself. So I always get a lot of support from the press. And then I did a film called Mutant Aliens, which was a space sci-fi film that was really crazy. I liked it a lot. A lot of people liked it, but that also went to Sundance. And I remember the opening night. It played at the Egyptian. I don't know if you know Park City very well.
No, I don't know Park City very well.
So the Egyptians is old cinema, from the 20s, and then the festival revived to show films in. And
So it's an old movie palace.
yes, that's it. It's not a palace. It's maybe seats 300 people or something.
Okay, but in that vein,
Yes, exactly.
beautifully decorated and all that.
It is. It is. And word was that we sold out. We had a packed house, and so I stopped inviting people to it, and that was a mistake. Mistake number one. And then as soon as the film was going to start, the power went off in the Egyptian, not power, but the heating.
Oh.
The heating system shut down, and it was a blizzard outside. And so, I mean, a real blizzard. It was like 2 feet high snow. And so it ended up with maybe 20 people in the audience.
Oh,
which was really disappointing. And then everybody was cold, and the sound system, the person who did my sound screwed up on the transfer from the edited sound to the cinema sound.
To the optical sound?
No, yeah, I think it was optical. Yeah, it probably was back then.
Yeah.
And so people walked out.
Wow.
And I looked to my agent who was there, and I said, "This is by far the worst screening I've ever been to." And the word just got around like this film was not that great. So I didn't get any offers for distribution. And so here's the decision I had to make. give it to some distributor for free, and hope and pray they're honest and I'll get some money,
Right.
or distribute it myself. And I'm a DIY guy, so I said, well, I'll do it myself. And so I contacted this one guy, I forget his name, and he set me up on a tour, a West Coast tour and the East Coast tour showing my film. And so it was like every night I was in a different city presenting the film. And I liked it. It was kind of cool. I met a lot of really fun people, saw a lot of cool theaters. We got some great response from the audience. But I didn't make a lot of money because each night it's one town for each city.
And will you fill in the theater? I mean, you got a piece of the box office. How did that all
We
work?
split the box office 50-50.
Okay.
And I did sell my merch
In the lobby, right?
in the lobby, yeah.
Yeah.
But I ended up making, maybe $2,000, maybe $3,000. And so here's what happens: the box office report says the amount of money I made for this film was $3,000. And so when distributors look me up to see what my history is, $3,000, what a piece of crap. That's I don't want to buy his next film. Nobody likes his films. And it really because almost every film after that was independent release. I did it myself, or I had a person going around showing the film. So I never got the big box office numbers like I did with I Married a Strange Person, or the tune actually did fairly well in box office. And so that's why now it's really hard for me to get distribution.
For even your short films?
No, the short films sell pretty well, but Slide, for example, didn't get um, any distribution at all.
Was Slide the Western? No.
Yeah, that was the cowboy film.
That was the cowboy film.
Yeah.
But that got you did get that onto streaming, didn't you?
What do you mean streaming?
Was it on a streaming service?
No,
No.
I don't think so. It could be. It could be,
but you submitted it for Academy consideration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I was asking because that's how I watched it.
Oh,
I watched it through the Academy screening room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But I don't want to jump all the way to the end there. So
well, let me finish up.
Yeah, this is like a master class in how to do your own feature.
Yep. How to do it, how to distribute it. But now it's digital, and it should be a lot easier. But we're just having difficulty with the film trying to get it, on any sort of channels. It's really been hard and frustrating. But my issue, and this, you probably hear this a lot, is that for me, the pleasure is making the films, and that's what keeps driving me on and on, is how much I love making these films. And I'm not so good with the negotiations for distribution, or getting the film out, or doing press screenings. That's a lot of work and a lot of money that I don't have. So basically, I just make these films, and I believe that at some point people are going to say, "Hey, did you ever see these Bill Plympton films? We should check them out. I think people would like them." They are selling very well on Blu-ray, I must say, where Deaf Crocodile is selling them.
Okay, and so are they selling them as a compilation package, or they
No,
doing them
not yet. They
individually?
will. They're going to do that in the future, but right now they're selling 1 or 3 a year.
Okay.
Coming out on Blu-ray. And then they want to do a package of all my shorts, which are many. I have almost 100 shorts that they want to put in one package. And I'm not saying all those films are good. Some of them I did when I was really young.
Yeah, but still, it's a body of work.
Yes, it is. It's sort of how I began and how I build up my style and my films.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then they say they want to put together a whole big library of all my feature films, which they think will sell a lot. And I agree. I think it'll sell a lot.
I would absolutely agree that if they do a box set that will sell well. Yeah. So when you decide to do a feature, because it sounds like a daunting thing. I mean, I worked on a lot of big features,
Yes, I'm sure you do.
you know, with hundreds of artists, and I know
Yeah.
the pipeline inside and out for any number of types of projects, whether it's, you know, straight hand drawn to combinations with CG and all of that. I'm just like, you know, when you set out to do this, you storyboard yourself. You come up with the idea. Do you do a script? Do you, you know, or do you do it, you know, where you just board it?
All that. Yeah. The way I save my money is by doing as many parts of the process as I can.
Right.
And fortunately, I love doing all that stuff. I love doing the story outline, the storyboards. I usually do 2 storyboards, really tiny and then bigger storyboards. The character design, background design, color design, animation, special effects, as many things that are involved in the drawing. I love to do. I'm not great at editing. I have someone, Owen, who helps me edit. And in
And then
terms,
you have camera. You have somebody shooting camera.
no, now it's just scanning.
Now you're just scanning the drawings and putting it.
Intern, and all the intern has to do is put it on a scanning and
Yeah.
scan it.
But early on, you were shooting with a camera.
Yeah, with a camera. John Donnelly was my cameraman, and he did a really good job. About half my budget went to camera because
Yeah.
it was daunting. It was, you know, 3 months sometimes to shoot the whole film, maybe
Sure.
4 months, something like that. So it's a lot of work. Um,
And let me ask you this: now that you have the digital setup, you can go in, you can scan every drawing. Do you also go in and do any touch up, digital touch up,
Absolutely.
augmenting things, or using, you know, digital special effects and things?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of mistakes in the first edit, and so I go in there and I obviously cut out the bad shots, keep the good shots, or redo the shots, or fix the sound. There's so many things. As you know, post production is a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a lot of work, and I enjoy it. It's fun, seeing the film come alive and
Well, I liken it to, it's like a sculptor starting with shaping the clay and
right. That's a
moving
good
clay
one.
around and taking clay off and adding clay, and you know, so
I would like to continue your walk through my
yeah.
filmography.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So after Mutant Aliens,
and,
but you said something interesting. You said that was my first mistake. You stopped
yeah.
inviting people. What did you learn from that?
Well, you got to get a line outside, whether it's sold out or not. So
Let the theater turn them away.
yeah,
Okay.
because you want to get all the people. And then I had the blizzard, which was
Yeah.
really daunting. And then I had the heat come off in the building, and then the what was the other one? Oh, the sound. The sound was also
And the sound was terrible. Yeah.
nothing could do about it. So anyway, Mutant Aliens, which I think is a great film, the video cassette is selling very well, was a real bummer for me. So I analyzed what can I do to get the distributors excited. And so I was talking to Martha Plimpton, who's my distant cousin, and
Martha Plimpton, the actress.
the actress, yeah.
Yes.
And she's been very friendly. We'd get together at family reunions and talk about, movies and stuff. And she said, "Well, Bill, give me a shot." And she got all these great voiceover artists, people like Sarah Silverman and Beverly D'Angelo, Ed, what's his last name? His father's was a famous actor. Anyway, we got a lot of really big names.
Ed Begley.
Ed Begley. How did you know that?
Because his father was a famous actor.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Eds. Ed Begley Jr. He was great. He was really fun. Anyway, so I went out to LA and I had money then. I just did a big TV special for Cartoon Network. So that was Christmas special.
Yeah.
So I had money in the bank. So I flew out to L.A. and I got all the actors come in. Carradine was there, David Carradine and Keith Carradine.
Wow.
And they're relatives of Sarah Martha Plimpton.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
I met Bobby Carradine. I sat on a flight with him.
Oh, really?
And had a wonderful conversation because I was a fan of his father, John
Yeah,
Carradine.
his dad.
All those horror movies and all those B
movies.
movies and stuff.
Yeah,
And
he was always the bad guy.
yeah, but it was just a wonderful conversation with him.
Yeah.
It was very sad to hear that he recently passed.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, go on. So you
So the voices we nailed were really good voice. Even had Matt Groening and Don Hertzfeld do voices. So it was really a lot of fun for me. And again, we premiered at Sundance,
and this is for Hair High.
Yes, Hair High. Thank you.
Which is the next feature.
Yeah, it's
that's 2004.
Yeah, it's a high school gothic horror film, which I like horror films, especially if they're funny.
Yeah,
funny horror films and high school stuff, and that era of music, bebop, rockabilly music was so perfect for this. And again, Maureen and Hank Bones did the music, and it was great. And once again, it died. It didn't take off, and I really don't understand it because a lot of people, this is their favorite film. They really like Hair High, and I think that on Blu-ray it's going to do really well. I think it's coming up this week.
I didn't take off. What happened in Sundance?
I don't know. I think maybe they looked at my previous box office, with Mutant Aliens. They said, "Oh, look, he only made like $3,000. Nobody really likes his film." And again, the reviews were fabulous. Were really great reviews. But that didn't stop me. I still wanted to make more film. So my next film, I said, okay, I'm going to stop doing stars. No more stars.
Right.
No more voices. I want to get rid of the voices, and this will be a no dialogue film, and it's going to be kind of a noir. I wanted to make a noir romance, and very simple plot, but very it's almost black and white. I think it was black and white, but some scenes there were color. Not much color, so it's totally the opposite of Hair High. Hair High and everything, and this film, Idiots and Angels, had very minimal not animation, but minimal effects, minimal story. The story was very simple story. And this film did well, actually. I didn't get a major distributor, but we did sell it a lot to movie theaters, and it's one of my favorite films.
Did Idiots and Angels? Did you take that to Sundance?
Yeah, but I think it got into Slamdance. I don't think it got into Sundance.
Okay,
I can look it up, but I think it was Slamdance.
Can you tell our listeners what Slamdance is?
Oh yeah, Slamdance is a posing festival to Sundance by these three filmmakers whose films never got selected. And they said, "Well, we'll throw our own Sundance festival," and they call it Slamdance. They only have one cinema, and I think they're moving to LA this year or for next year.
Now, were they doing it in Park City?
It's in Park City. It's the top of the main drag there. If you take the main drag up the hill there, that's where it was. And
so they did Slamdance the same time Sundance was on?
Yes, same week. Same week, yeah. So it's hard to get a room, that's for sure. And the audience loved the film, and I think I got a prize. I think I won an award. I know I won an award in Annecy for that film. Annecy is a big animation festival, sort of the Oscars of the world for animation.
In France.
In France, yeah. The French Alps, which is very beautiful location. And it did very well. I forgot to mention, when I Married a Strange Person came out, these guys in France saw it. I forget where they saw. Oh, it was Annecy. They saw it in Annecy. And they immediately flew to New York after the festival and met with me and my distributor, my foreign distributor. and they made a deal, and it's called ED Distribution, and they're just a 3 people group of distributors in Paris, where they do their films. And my film, I Met a Strange Person, was a huge hit. It wouldn't, the cinemas kept running it, kept playing it, kept having long lines to watch the film. So they became my French distributors, and up until now, they've distributed every film that I did, and they all did well in France. But in America, no, I
But
just don't get it.
that you bring up an interesting point, because the French regard animation as a true art form, and it
They sure do.
appeals to an adult audience out there in France.
Yes. Yeah.
And they have a great appreciation for our American comedians, like Jerry Lewis, and those types of old time comedians have always done extremely well over there.
Yeah, I tell you, I've had 5, 6 films shown there, I think, and I'm more well known in Paris than I am in New York.
Wow.
People, strangers, hey Bill, how you doing? Hey, Mr. Plympton, Monsieur Plympton, oh, voulez-vous? And what can I say? That's the French have a sense of humor, the Americans don't. They just don't.
Yeah, and they have an appreciation for animation.
Yeah, they love animation.
Yeah,
Right.
they really do. All right, so Idiots and Angels, and it did well in France.
Yeah, did well.
Now, does that French distributor, do they go outside of France in Europe?
No, only French territories.
Only French. Okay.
Yeah.
So when
Like
you say French territories, you're also talking about like French Polynesia and
Yep.
uh,
Canada. I think they play in Canada
and
sometimes.
Quebec, Canada. Okay. So
Yeah.
Idiots and Angels does well in France, and you're inspired. You're inspired to do your next feature. I mean, when I say inspired, you just love doing them. So
Yeah.
you come up with an idea and you say, "Hey, I want to do that."
Well, after doing all these gag cartoons for men's magazines and regular magazines and newspaper prints, I have a whole list of ideas that I want to do next. I want to do another dog film. I have a great idea for another guard dog film, and I want to do a TV series. I got a great idea for a TV series, and I want to do another. Well, I'm working on another feature right now that's very influenced by Jacques Tati. You know Jacques Tati, right?
Is he the French comedic
Yeah.
actor?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, I have a bunch of his films on
Oh,
DVD.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's very funny, very subtle. How do you call it? Just very subtle kind of humor. Very very small things become very wild.
Yes.
I wanted to take that idea and make a animated film out of it. And then I did, I think Revengeance. I think this one here.
No, Cheatin'.
Oh, Cheatin'. Sorry.
2013, you did Cheatin'. Revengeance was 2016.
I'm glad you have your list.
I'm looking at a list here, folks.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm keeping Bill on track.
Yeah. So I did Cheatin', and it was the same. I was so successful with Idiots and Angels. I wanted the same formula for Cheatin', and it has more color, I must say, and a little more violence, and a lot more sex. And but basically, it's the same as Idiots and Angels, with a pencil drawing, I believe, and kind of noir humor kind of film that I did. That one got in a slam dance again, and played a lot of festivals and won a lot of prizes. It didn't make as much money as Idiots and Angels, but it was still, I think, a successful film. I really love the drawing. This film, I think my drawing has really reached its peak. Really, some of the characters I designed and the way they moved and the way the wind blew their clothing, it's really for me fun to do and fun to watch.
And then after Cheating, you did Revengeance.
Yeah, this was I used to go to the San Diego Comic-Con, and I really loved the con, but it just got too crowded and too expensive, so I stopped going. But there's this guy, Jim Lujan, who was a few tables down from my table, and he's a big fan, and we talked a lot and talked about animation, and he gave me 3 or 4 of his films on DVD and said, "Oh, you got to watch them. They're really good." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I never did. I don't know why. And I put them on a stack. And then, like 3 years later, one cold, rainy night in New York when there's nothing to do, nothing on TV, I said, "Oh, I should check out Jim Lujan's films." And they were amazing. They were just sort of like the same kind of humor as mine, only the drawing was a little more, how should I say, crude.
Okay.
I liked his drawing. I liked his drawing style, but it wasn't my style. It was
Right.
definitely his style. And so I don't know why immediately called him up that night. I said, Jim, let's do a film together. Let's do your stories, because he's a great story writer and a great dialogue writer. I'm terrible at dialogue. And your character designs, and I'll make a film together. I'll finance the whole thing. You don't have to do anything. And he did a lot of voices and a lot of the dialogue. He even did some of the music, and the music is wonderful. It's real sort of LA, LA uh, kind of crude music. I'm trying to think of the label they put on it, but um, I can't think of it now. But anyway, it's really beautiful music. Latino.
Crude in what way? Is it electronic?
Well, no, oh my God. What did the Sex Pistols do? Grunge.
Oh, so like grunge or punk?
Yeah, grunge,
Yeah.
punk, Latino.
Okay.
Kind of a nice mix. Anyway, so we did it pretty quick. I think we did it in a year. It went really fast. It was really fun to do, fun to draw. Great storytelling. And again, we didn't get into Sundance, but we did get into Slam Dance and a bunch of other festivals. Unfortunately, nobody bought it. I lost money on the film, but that's my life. I love to draw these films. I love to watch the audience enjoy the films. And so for me, it's okay.
I mean that's really what I get from sitting here talking with you, is that you're doing it because you love doing animation.
That's
You're
right.
not motivated to do it to make millions of dollars.
No.
I mean, you'd like to make millions of dollars if the film hit, but
Yeah.
that's not your ultimate motivator. You're doing it
No.
because you love animation.
Yeah, the whole process is just really fun, really exciting. And I think one day they'll discover my films, and they'll be saying, "Oh yeah, I remember Plympton. Yeah, he was good."
I'm sure they're going to remember you. You've got a huge
Yeah.
body of work.
Yeah.
So then after Revengeance, you did Slide.
Right.
And by the way, were all of these up for Academy consideration? Did they all get submitted for
Yeah,
Academy?
we all sent them for Academy, for Oscar.
Yeah.
So
Slide was a product of the pandemic.
Yes. And I sent a rough cut to Annecy, and they loved it. They said it's not finished yet. I said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll finish it," because it's like, I think 6 months before the actual event.
Yeah.
You can finish it. And so I hired this guy. He sent me a really nice letter. "Oh yeah, I love your films. I'd love to work for you. I know all the programs. I know everything." And I impressed on him that there's a deadline to finish the film. It's still very rough. A lot of the drawings are sloppy, and they got to be cleaned up, and Photoshop, all the problems. And I never really checked with him. I just keep telling him, "Come on, we got to get going. We got to finish. We got to finish." He said, "Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it." And it turns out when I wasn't looking, he was making his own film on my computers.
Oh, crying out loud.
And after about 3 months, I said, where's the film? Show me what you did this week. And he only did 3 shots. And it was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. So the question was, should I pull pull my film out of Annecy or show the rough cut that's sort of semi-finished. And, to get invited to Annecy was really a special thing. So I said, oh, I can finish it by Annecy. So I went in there and worked night and day finishing all the hard work for the film.
Wow.
To get it done, and it still wasn't done. And the Annecy forced me to give a speech before the screening that the film is not done. It's a work in progress. I apologize. It's my fault. I screwed up, but I think you can see the.
Did they tell you had to say all of that?
No, but I knew they wanted me to.
Okay.
Because if I didn't, they would be looking at a really bad film and say, "What Plympton's? He's lost it. He lost his magic hand." So I had to say that.
And how'd it go over at Annecy?
Not well. Not well. The first screening, I remember the first screening, and I knew a lot of the people in the audience. They were people from different film festivals all over the world looking to see my new film. And as they walked out, nobody said hello to me. Nobody talked to me. It was really.
They averted their eyes.
Yeah, you know that look. Yeah.
So what happened?
Nobody picked it up. We had interest from a bunch of people, but the money they were offering was like $10,000 for everything.
Yeah.
I just
What
can't.
What about your French distributor?
Oh, they did it, and they did okay. It wasn't as good as some of the other films, but it was a popular film in France.
So your last feature was Slide 2024. Your next feature, when is it coming out?
I don't know. I'm still trying to pay off my bills from the COVID problems. I
Okay.
still owe a lot of money off for my rent. I owe a lot of money for my checking account. A lot of bills to pay. But I don't know if you can see here, but I'm doing a Kickstarter campaign, and it looks like we'll have enough money to pay off the debts.
Well, you know something, Bill, we promoted the Kickstarter several weeks back or a few months
Thank
back,
you.
and it seems to have helped a
Yes.
little bit and
Yes.
gave a little kick in the last
Absolutely. No, I think we're gonna make it. I
few
think
days of the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that you're gonna make it because
Yeah.
it's so close. It's so
Yeah.
close. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, just a little bit left by tomorrow afternoon, which should be able to happen.
Yeah, so if we can do that, I can pay off almost all my bills, and then I can go back to working on my feature, which is what I wanna do.
But you will have finished the music video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's almost all done. Um, all the color do I have any here? Let me see if I have some. No, they're all over there.
Well, let me ask you. So let me ask you this, because we're starting to bump up against time, and
Right.
I want to pick up for our next episode. I wanted
Sure.
to talk a little bit about the state of the animation business, but before we get to that, we'll do that in the next episode.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask what your advice is to animators out there that may be sort of looking to, the industry has been having a tough go of it for the past year or two. There's a lot of folks that are out of work, but as an independent, you've been making your own way for decades.
Right.
What advice would you give to an animator who's contemplating doing either a short film or even potentially doing their own feature?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's everybody says, "Oh, you can't make money in animation, and the shorts don't sell. Nobody wants them." But I've been doing pretty well doing my independent animation. People like Pez, you probably know, who did the avocado film or guacamole film. Excuse me. That was on YouTube and made a lot of money. He made a lot of money on that film. People like Don Hertzfeld. Do you know Don Hertzfeld?
I don't know him personally.
He does the stick figures for people who don't know. Let's see if I can draw it here.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
yeah. He's animating little faces.
Yeah, stick figures, yeah. But you think, well, no one's gonna buy that, but they are hilarious. He's one of my favorites. He did a Kickstarter campaign, you probably heard about this, where he wanted to do another feature, he didn't have the money, and so I think he wanted $30,000, something like that. And he ran it for a month, and at the end, he had $300,000.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. So there's money in animated shorts. There's
Well,
money.
yeah, there's a huge fan base out there, and one of the things I talked about when we were given a promotion for your Kickstarter a few months ago was that it takes a village. People who are fans of animation, if they want to see a film, you could kick in 10, 15, $25 if you have the means, 50 or $100 or more, and allow these independent animators to create their own shorts,
Right, right.
and there's something exhilarating about getting a few thousand people to put in, a couple bucks each, in order to help get those funded.
But yeah, I don't know what your age is, but do you remember Spike and Mike?
Yeah, of course.
Sick and Twisted show?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that was so popular. They made so much money that they pissed it away. But I think that's coming back. I think there's people out there who want to make another Sick and Twisted film festival that goes around the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, there's also Ron Diamond does his shows.
Right, that's right.
You've been in those shows.
Yes, I have, yes.
Yeah, so, again, what's old is new again. Right? So
Yeah, yeah.
all right. So, Bill, this has been a great conversation. I'm glad we were able to spend this episode talking about all your features. When we come back next week, I really want to talk a little bit about the state of animation, theatrical animation, the big pictures coming from the various studios and stuff, and also the cutting edge technology, the AI that's coming in, and some of the fear that's out there. So,
Well, I know nothing about that.
that's okay. Well, we'll talk about it. All right.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have an opinion, Anyway, thanks for being on the Skull Rock podcast. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Let's get out of here!
Come on, Scotty, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here, Lieutenant.
All right, part 3 in the can. Another one with Bill. Dave, how do you do it?
I don't know. It's just fun though, and I have to tell you, people want to be on the Skull Rock podcast. I get it. I just love talking to these folks about their careers. I love the inspiration they bring to our listeners. So Bill's just absolutely terrific.
Well, we're going to have another awesome week with Bill next week as we wrap things up. But before we sign off, Dave, I mentioned that Peebo Bryson had passed away last week.
Yes.
And he passed away from complications from a stroke. Of course, he is the Grammy Award-winning R&B singer and balladeer, of course, known for the Disney hits Beauty and the Beast duet with Celine Dion and A Whole New World with Regina Bell, Ring My Bell from Aladdin. Those hit #1 on the Billboard charts. But Dave, what are your thoughts on Peebo Bryson, legendary figure in Disney?
It was really quite a shock to see that, Aljon, because he was young. I mean, what was he, 74?
75.
75? I mean, my gosh, that's just so shocking. But you know what, folks, as you get older, you really need to keep on top of your health. If high blood pressure can sneak up on you, you can have a stroke, there's all kinds of things that can happen. And it's just worth getting a checkup periodically with your doctor. Aljon, I know so many people who don't do that.
Yeah, me too.
And it's crazy. I was so saddened to see such a talented guy, pass away so young. I mean, 75 is young.
Yeah, it happens all too often.
Yeah.
It happens all too often. And I can tell you, I'm the poster boy for getting checked out early. You know, I was hospitalized last year and
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get in. I knew that my body was telling me something and got in and got fixed up, you know, in a couple days. It is sad, but once again, you know, rest in peace, the soul of Peebo Bryson, man. And I'm glad to hear your take on it, Dave.
Yeah.
We're wrapping things up. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Bill Plympton, another one next week, a legendary figure in animation. Tune in for that. You're a big fan of the show. We appreciate you listening all the way to the end. We want to make sure that you subscribe to our show everywhere you get podcasts, Dave. I think we have, 250 shows? 250 shows, Dave.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. What a run. 250 shows. So be on the lookout for every week. We drop new episodes. Subscribe to our show. As Dave said and earlier, all the social media, especially YouTube and Spotify, those are the ones that really make a difference for us. So please be sure to subscribe to us there. You can find me, Aljon Go, on Instagram and X. I'm there. Facebook. You can check me out. LinkedIn. And then you can also check out my other show, Dining at Disney Podcast, if you love Disney food like I do. And yeah, you can tell I love Disney food, and I also love reviewing those restaurants with my wife Kristen and Kat or Corey. We talk about the theme parks all the time, every single week with Dining at Disney Podcast. And then also shout out to our friends at srsounds.com, Sorcerer Radio, all Disney music all day long. Dave?
Well, you know, Aljon, before I go into my spiel, I had a very nice text exchange with a friend and listener of the show. And he went to the new Napa Rose at the Grand Californian, you know, because they completely remodeled it. And he gave it a huge thumbs up. He said it was fantastic. He said it was a little bit more intimate than the previous version of the restaurant.
That's right.
Tunes Behind the Tunes on Sirius XM, Disney Hits Channel 133. You can hear me every month. During the month of June, Life is a Highway from Disney Pixar's 2006 hit film Cars.
Love that. Love that.
And that's up for all of June. So check that out. You can get many of my books, I should say, signed copies at theoldmillpress.com. You can also get author signed copies of the newly released The Art of John Canemaker, An Animator's Garden by John Canemaker, and A Spoonful of Sugar, The Story of the Upjohn Pharmacy in Disneyland by Stephen Hall. And by the way, folks, my upcoming brand new book that's going to come out later this year, Walt Disney, World War II, Animation on the Front Lines. That's right, folks. And it's a hefty book. This is like a 370-page book.
Wow.
It's a big tome, and I can't wait for people to get it. Also, you can go to my website, davidbossert.com. There's links to all my books. There's free content. There's stuff you can send away for free. All there at davidbossert.com. And with that, folks, I'm going to say, have a great week. Go out there, be kind to one another, and we'll see you back here next Monday right here on the Skull Rock Podcast.